Well, within the next half hour, the House Ag Committee will unveil their draft of the 2018 Farm Bill, leaving many to speculate how much money will be available in the legislation. Joining us now from the AFBF Washington, D.C. headquarters is economist Veronica Nye. Veronica, thanks for joining us today. So how much money will they have at their disposal?
Well, this is kind of a funny time of year because everyone starts looking at the budget in a very careful way when maybe we don't look at it in the same way other times of year. So earlier this week, the Congressional Budget Office released their 10-year baseline for Farm Bill spending. Basically, what that means is they take a look at current Farm Bill programs and they try to estimate what spending will be over the next 10 years. The dollar value that they place on that spending is basically the amount of money that the Senate and House Agriculture Committees will have to work with as they craft their Farm Bill proposals. And this year, CBO's projection is $867 billion, which is down about $90 billion from where we were in 2014 when we were crafting the last Farm Bill.
What exactly do these baseline projections identify for us?
Well, they help us see which programs are moving. So for example, about 75% of all the spending in the current Farm Bill is on nutrition programs. And CBO, looking at the current trends, is projecting that participation in those programs will continue to decline. And in fact, it's $93 billion less budget associated with those programs compared to 2014. You know, that's on an improving economy and low unemployment. But that $93 billion reduction certainly has an impact on the rest of Farm Bill spending. Now, crop insurance, which is about 9% of all the spending, is also down compared to 2014, unfortunately on lower commodity prices. Another 7% of that spending is on typically known as the commodity programs, the Title I, which is up fairly considerably from 2014. One, because of additional commodities being added and some changes and improvements that were very much necessary, but also, again, because of those low commodity prices. Then everything else, about 8% of the budget is everything else: conservation, trade, rural development. So it really sets a standard for what spending can be on those programs. So any changes that the Senate and House Agriculture make to any of those programs will be judged against this April baseline that the CBO just released.
And Veronica, what do you expect to be the biggest changes in this year's bill?
That's a great question. I think earlier this year we had some changes to dairy and cotton programs that certainly were beneficial. I think you're going to see some changes in that Title I area on definitions and which programs farmers are planning on participating in. But, I think, Janet, we've talked a lot recently about trade. And the one thing that's worth mentioning is nothing about this Farm Bill has any impact or is expected to have any impact on the trade issues that we've been having. So some of those largest movers of what's going to be going on in commodity prices in the next 6 months, year, are not really touched by Farm Bill programs. So there's a giant asterisk out there outside of the Farm Bill process, but certainly some changes in Title I and maybe a little bit of change in crop insurance moving forward into these next few months, where we look at the draft bills the Senate and House Ag Committee will be releasing.
All right. Well, Veronica, as always, thank you for taking the time to chat with us today. We appreciate it. AFBF economist Veronica Nye joining us from our nation's capital. Again, the House version of the Farm Bill will be released here in just a little bit. In fact, at the bottom of this half hour.